Hello, my name is Olga, and today I'm going to talk about a very tragic part in the Russian history. Um, it is the story of betrayal, brutal murder of four young girls, uh, innocent ill boy and their parents. Whenever they were, they didn't deserve such a gruesome murder. I don't know what to say. I just feel very sad when I'm standing here because we are standing by the old mine where the dead bodies of the royal family, royal Russian family, were dumped, and then they were filled with acid, and then they got burned. Let's look around. Look at those pictures. Four pretty young girls, a boy. The only fault was that they were born in the wrong time, in the wrong family. But the life didn't last long. Here is the temple of St. Nicholas, and you see there are 17 heads in this cathedral. It is connected with the date of a brutal murder of the Roman family, 17th of July. They were murdered not far from here in Yekaterinburg. We are in the middle of the Ural forest, but the city is not very far from here. They say that there is an icon belonging to Grigory Rasputin was there. I think it is still there. I just wanted to say a few words about Rasputin. It is just he was just an evil genius of the Russian royal family. He made a prophecy that if he would be killed by the members of the royal family, the whole dynasty will be destroyed in less than 2 years. And this prophecy, it turned to reality. In less than 2 years, they were brutally murdered. And one more really weird fact. Rasputin was from the depth of Siberia. He was from the village not far from the city, the small town of Tobolsk. And when the Tsar Nicholas abdicated, the whole family was carried to Tobolsk and lived there for some time. And they could see the place of birth of this evil monk. Here you can see the monument of the Tsar Children. You see the crowns and with little crosses. It is because they were turned into saints by the Russian Orthodox Church. These temples remind me somehow of the Moscow churches. I'm standing not far from the temple of Serafim Sarovsky. It was founded in place where the remains of the fire were founded, and the Orthodox Church is sure that this the remains of the fire were the extracted remains from the mine that we were in the beginning The remains were extracted and burned again. It is just unimaginable cruelty. And this is the place where this fire was. And you can see this very nice temple. And before the monastery occurred here, here there were iron mines, and they were owned by the businessman called Ganya. His name was Gavril, but people called him Ganya, and that's how Ganina Yama got its name. Yama means hole, Ganina hole. I just can say my personal thoughts about it. I don't know whether Bolsheviks had to kill Nicholas II and his family. It is the story of betrayal because when the revolution happened, the cousin of Nicholas II, English King George V, they looked like twin brothers because their mothers were sisters. English king first offered Nicholas II and his family asylum in Britain, but then he probably didn't want to make his relationships with the new Bolshevik power worse, and he just changed his mind. Probably some of the viewers have visited St. Petersburg, a gorgeous city with grand palaces, including the palaces of those who killed Rasputin, and this whole story started. But St. Petersburg is the beginning of the story, of this grandeur gold. These beautiful balls, aristocrats. And here is the end, the gruesome end of the story. Just in the depth of the Ural forests. Now there is a huge city of Yekaterinburg nearby, but by the time it was the place of their exile. And it was exile for the royal family and the end, and brutal murder. And it is the temple of the Saint Royal Martyrs. It reminds me somehow of the tower from the Russian fairy tales, where the princess had to wait on the top of the tower and wait for her savior to come. Here couldn't be any saviors, of course, but I like this cathedral the most. I think it is quite bizarre, but I've never seen anything like this anywhere. What about you? Here's the reconstruction of the room or in the Ipatьевsky house where the Tsar family was killed. Uh, and the witnesses say that the girls didn't die immediately because there were diamonds hidden in the corsets, and that's why the bullets ricocheted. I cannot imagine myself this horrible thing. During the First World War, the daughters of the Tsar served as nurses. In the hospital, they helped to heal the victims of the war. Here are some artifacts of the Yulu mine, iron mine. Just take a look how it looked before. Here's the Empress, the Tsarina Alexandra Fedorovna, the mother of these 5 brutally murdered children, royal children. She was originally German princess, and her son, Prince Alexei, was ill with hemophilia because of her. It was the blood of Queen Victoria. She was the relative of Queen Victoria, and that was the cause of the disease. That's why she became influenced with Rasputin. He was a healer from Siberia, and he managed to heal Tsarevich Alexei. I think every mother would understand her and wouldn't blame her, but this fact, the influence of Rasputin, was widely discussed in Russian society, even in the higher circles. And Rasputin was killed by the relative of the Tsar eventually. Here's the monument of the Tsar Nicholas II. He was a kind, loving family man, but of course he was a weak emperor, not suitable for ruling such a great empire as Russia. The Russian Empire was just huge, and it resulted in such a tragedy. The tensions were growing. People were not satisfied with his rule. They thought that he was influenced too much by his wife and Rasputin. And it is a tragedy of a man who was born a Tsar, but not with the character of the Tsar. He couldn't hold Russia. He couldn't hold Russia. And it ended in revolution. I was wondering many times why Bolsheviks just didn't let Nicholas II and his family go. Not to England, but maybe to some different country, just to escape. Probably they were scared that Nicholas II would find allies and get back and try to regain his power. And there is one more mystery I want to mention. The whole dynasty, the whole Romanov dynasty started 300 years before Nicholas was murdered, and its story begins with the monastery, Ipatьевsky monastery, and the whole family of Nicholas II was killed in Ekaterinburg in the house of Ipatiev, the same surname, 300 years of difference. So many mysteries. It cannot be explained. These churches remind me somehow of Russian village churches, but they look quite nice, I think. And first I thought that this place wouldn't have, that I wouldn't feel this way when I would occur here, because these churches were made not long ago. They were made in the beginning of the 21st century. But no, just I was wrong. When you stay here for some time, you feel just the sense of mystery, something weird in the air. And I always advise my friends from different cities in Russia and in different countries to come here. There is something special here, really. You just can feel it, even if you're skeptic. So this is the cathedral on the spilled blood that is standing in a place where Ipatievsky house was demolished. This was the order of Boris Yeltsin, and on this very night of 17th of July of 1918, the whole Tsar family was killed in the Ipatievsky house. And later carried to Ganina Yama. This must be the moment of descending to the underground floor where the tragedy took place.